Good morning, y'all. It's Lippy with Gemini Homestead. It's a dreary morning. We had to go to town and pick up a tractor part, and I was like, it's yucky outside. So what do you do when it's yucky outside? Make a pot of chili. Of course, when I told Buddy, I need to make chili, he knew then we was gonna have to pull that roast out because we grind our roast to make our own chili meat. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try something a little different with these videos now that I've got a new phone. I'm gonna turn y'all around and show you the ingredients, and then I'm just gonna set the camera up and let you see the process of the recipe. I'm gonna see if this works, y'all. Hey, no one else better to try it on than y'all. I mean, you know, I got them cheerleaders out there cheering me on. So I'm gonna turn this little tripod around, show you my ingredients, get a sip of coffee. We have faith today, y'all. Each day I grab a different cup and I concentrate on what that word means. I love my coffee cups. But let me turn you around. If not, I'll talk to y'all for an hour. Okay, what you're looking at in the top left is small diced celery, and I used one stalk. I did destring and I diced it small. We have one large yellow sweet onion. We have a half of a carrot, small diced, and we have one red bell pepper diced, and I have 3 cloves of minced garlic. Now here's the meat. We have a half a pound of hot breakfast sausage. Now you can use mild if you prefer that, but I use the hot. We have a pound and a half of a ground chuck roast. And then we have a pound of 80/20, just ground meat. This is where I'm gonna get my fat from. Okay, starting from left to right, we've got 28 ounces of petite diced tomatoes. And these are, it's any brand that you want unless you've canned some. We didn't get to this year. We have a 28 can of crushed tomatoes. We have tomato juice, but I won't be using all of that. In the center, this is our last jar of salsa, and I'm using a cup of just regular salsa. You can use picante if you don't have homemade salsa. This is concentrated tomato paste. We're going to use about a tablespoon. 2 cans of chili beans. This is where you can add kidney beans, black beans. You make it your choice, but these are 2 standard cans of chili beans. And then here is the seasoning. And what I did is I put it all in one bowl. 1/4 cup of chili powder, a tablespoon and a half of cumin, a heaping tablespoon of oregano, salt and pepper to taste. I also put a little garlic powder, and then I put a tablespoon of sugar. And the reason why I did the sugar was to take away some of the bitterness of the acidity. A lot of tomatoes going in there. Okay, we're going to start with a little bit of olive oil. And the first thing we want to sweat down is going to be these carrots. Now, I didn't explain to y'all why I use carrot. It doesn't give a sweetness, but it does give a back flavor that you just can't pick up on. If you leave it out, you'll know the difference. But you know, that's a lot of tomato going in there. And with a tablespoon of sugar, this just kind of helps add to that. But I did forget to tell y'all, I use a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. There again, you can cut that down depending on your palate. If my grandkids was here, it would be a half a teaspoon to this big pot and just a few red pepper flakes. But the grandkids are not here, and I am making a large batch. That's because I can freeze it in containers, because one day he may want chili, one day I may, and I'm only going to put it in single serving containers. But I'm going to let this sweat just a little bit. Now this is the carrots. because they're, you know, they're hard. Well, that's been going, what, about 30 seconds? Oh yeah, they look good. Okay, now we're going to go in with the celery. There again, we're staying with the tougher of the Mirepoix. I don't want to miss a bit of this. Now I'm going to let this sweat. I'm on about a medium heat just until lightly softened. But I did turn the heat down because I'm not trying to fry them. So probably 2 to 3 minutes, and then we're going to come in with the onions, and the last thing we're going to come in is bell pepper and garlic. But when we get to that stage, I'll bring you back in, because I know y'all don't want to stand there or sit. I'm standing, and watch me soften these vegetables. I did turn my fire down, so now we're between a medium and a low. And I'm going to tell y'all, the ones that's been following me, and you new subscribers, y'all go back and watch the video. I did find this organic tomato paste, and it's good, but I prefer my tomato paste. And about 6 weeks ago, one of our deep freezers went out, and I lost 2-gallon bags of tomato paste. But if you go back and watch the tomato paste video, because, you know, this only has so long of a shelf life. But, hey, it works in a pinch till I can put my tomato paste back up. And basically, it's just buying a good quality tomato paste. In a small can, you end up with about 11 tablespoons. You flash freeze it, put it in a bag, and when you need tomato paste, you pull that frozen tablespoon out. Simple, simple, simple. Okay, now we're going to come in with some onions. And try to use a good sweet onion. Now the garlic is going to be the very last thing that goes in. Okay, and I'm leaving the camera going because there is a little trick that I do. And there's a reason for it. Okay, we've got them sauteing really, really well. Now we're going to come in with the bell pepper. If you have a yellow bell pepper, orange bell pepper, it works well. I'm not a fan of the green bell pepper. It kind of tastes like a pepper, and I love pepper, but there's just something about the natural sweetness of the reds, the orange, and the yellows. Now, if I'd have had a yellow one, I would have added another bell pepper. Okay. I need to pull it out. Let me get it out. Now, we've got them sauteing really well, okay? Now, if you just want to saute them until they're very tender, you wouldn't add salt. But I'm going to come in with just a pinch of salt. And what that's going to do is that's going to break them down and bring the water out of them. By doing that, it immediately softens them. I mean, if you like a chunky vegetable in your chili, don't do this. But just that pinch of salt, it's not going to make them just go flat. But it's going to pull the natural sugars and juices out. And it's just going to break them down to where they're pleasing to your palate. So I'm going to get this sauteing a good 3 to 4 minutes, y'all. I'm between a low to medium before I ever put that garlic in. And then I'm going to bring the camera down in the pot because there's some steps that y'all need to visually see. I hope y'all make my chili. You know, really, you can use anything in the cabinet. Anything. I grabbed those 2 cans of chili beans because I happen to have that in the pantry. But there's other beans that I prefer, like a kidney bean. Now, some people drain theirs. I will not be draining these. I like the flavor. What can I say? But to each his own. So I'm going to get these sauteed, bring you back, but the camera's going to be over the pot. Let's hope the smoke don't cloud it. And we're going to add the rest of the ingredients. Okay, we're fixing to go in with the sausage. I just added the garlic. Let me bring you a little bit closer. No, I better not do it like that. Don't you love how I take y'all on my adventures to learning filming? Okay, there we go. That looks good. All right, this is a ½ pound of hot breakfast sausage. There again, you can use mild. You take a simple recipe and you just make it your own. You know, depending on your taste. Now I'm gonna crank this heat up. Remember, I had it between a low and a medium. Because what I want to try to do is get this sausage broke. Now, you see I didn't add the rest of the meat. I did that because I needed to break this sausage up. I just didn't want big humps, and it could get lost with all this meat. Okay. Now we're going to go in with the pound of ground meat. That's that 80-20. Remember, I said that's where I want to get my fat from. Because you've got to have some fat in order to get a good browning. Now, I'm sure for some of you that doesn't eat the ground meat, you could do this with a turkey. I would prefer a dark turkey. I think you'll have a better flavor. Let's get this cranked up a little bit more. Okay. You've got that broke up. Now, here comes. Y'all are watching, right? Okay. Buddy's getting ready to go fishing. I hope he catches me some fish. Now we're coming in with the 1.5 pounds of chili meat that he ground for me this morning off of a roast. Honey, wasn't that a chuck roast?
Yeah.
Chuck roast. There we go. Now we're not going to do anything else. I'm just going to fold it and blend it, and I'm going to get it browned. You don't have to get it brown to where I'm going to put my spoon in there and eat it, but you need a good char on this meat. So I'm not going to let you sit here and watch this because I know you'd be bored. So I'm going to turn the camera off, and when I get it brown, I'm going to bring you back to the next step. Okay, y'all can see. I hope you can. Let me see. Let's see if I can tilt it down. I don't know if y'all are going to be able to get a good visual. But it has browned, and I'm guessing you might have 2 tablespoons of fat, which is just perfect. Now, this is where I'm going to make a well, the best I can get it. And I'm going to come in with some tomato paste. All right, here, y'all can you see the liquid? Might have 3 tablespoons. But I'm going to come in with about a heaping. It's about 1.5 tablespoons, y'all. And the reason why I put it in the well, as I call it, is because I want to mash this down and I want to cook this, okay? It's very concentrated. And if you don't cook this tomato paste, put some heat on it, it will be bitter. It doesn't matter if you're doing it the old way like I do it. And you see, I'm just trying to keep it in that well. You can see the discoloration. See, that's getting more of a red tone where this isn't. And I'm doing this because I want to put some heat to this for about a minute. All right, while that's doing this little thing, I want to show y'all something. There's a little word on here that says lefty. I'm left-handed. And a few years back, well, it's probably been 5 or 6, my daughter blessed me with a set of left-handed wooden cookware, some spoons and spatulas and so forth. But it is so funny because, let me show y'all this one. Okay? It's in my left hand. You see how it points, which would be for a left-handed cook. Y'all, if I hold it in my right hand, it's backwards. And it's so funny when my husband comes in the kitchen and he wants to grab something. He tries to read them. If not, he's steadily struggling. But for you left-handers out there, I'm not an affiliate, but y'all need to look up, it's called Lefties. I believe they're based out of Florida. And let me tell you, I've got scissors now. I've got my wooden spoons. It has really made my life so much easier because you left-handers know everything's backwards to us. Okay, now this is where I'm going in with my seasoning. And I'll go back over that while I blend this in. And normally I don't measure, but I measured because I'm doing a video. It's about 1/4 of a cup of chili powder, okay? You want a good chili powder. You've got a tablespoon and a half of cumin. You've got a heaping tablespoon of oregano. Salt, pepper, a tablespoon of sugar, and a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. But remember, the cayenne pepper is to your palate. I'm going to turn that fire down. I'm going to be on like a medium. Now what I'm doing is I'm cooking this seasoning. I'm bringing all the oils back into the seasoning. That's where the flavor is. Y'all look at this. I mean, come on. Look at... Oh, I could almost just eat this. Okay. Now we're going to come in with some liquids. I'm going to start off with a cup of my pecani sauce. But you can do a standard jar of, I would actually recommend a paste pecani because of the consistency, okay? Now I am going to crank it down a little bit more because I don't want it splattering on me. Then I'm going to come in with a 28-ounce can of petite diced tomatoes. Let me just get these blended in. Y'all, it smells so good. And everything that was stuck on the bottom is no longer there because the liquid is bringing it all up. And that's what we call the gratin. Okay. Now we're going to come in with a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. And the only reason I was going to use just a half, because usually I'd use the, a 14-ounce. And I was going to freeze the rest. And I said, no, I'm going to go ahead since it's, almost 3 pounds of meat. I'll use both. It will be fine. See how thick it is? So I knew it was going to be okay. All right, let's get this mixed up. It's basically at this point dump and go. Now, like I said, you can drain these. You can use kidney. I'm using just a chili bean and sauce because guess what? That's what I had. Like I say, I'm giving you the basics. And you make it your own. But don't leave out the vegetables. Oh, don't do that. You would probably regret it. Now, this is where I'm going to come in with just a little bit of tomato juice. Normally, I keep the small cans, but we have this in the pantry. And I'm going to guesstimate about 3/4, a cup and a half of tomato, yep. About 1.25 cups of tomato juice. And then I'm just going to thin it a little bit with about 1/2 cup of hot water. When you're adding water to anything like this, make sure that it's very warm to the hot side. Because what you don't want to cool down too much. You want them flavors to still stay going. And if I'd have added cold water, it does change the flavor. I don't know why. It's like it stops it from cooking when you're trying to get all that flavor and oils from the dry ingredients. And there we have it. Okay. So I'm going to bring it up till about a number 6. I've got electric stove. And once it reaches a boil, a slow boil, I'm going to turn it down, put a lid on it, check it every 15-20 minutes, give it a good stir. This is going to cook a minimum of 2 hours. At the 2-hour mark, I'm going to come in, stir it. I'm going to turn the heat off, and I'm going to walk away for an hour. I won't lift the lid. Heat's off, walk away. So I'm going to sit down and get a cup of coffee, and guess what? Bam! I'm going to sit down and get a cup of coffee and relax. I want y'all to know I'm making chili because it was a dreary day and it was cool outside. Y'all see that? That's the sun. Might have to put the air conditioning on and pretend that it's cold outside. All right, I'm going to get this to a boil. Crank the heat down. Put a lid on it. Come check on it every 15, 20 minutes. 2 hours. Turn the heat off. Stir it. Put the lid back on. Walk away for an hour. No one said that good chili could be done in 30 minutes. Just say it. Takes patience, y'all. See you in 3 hours when I plate up. Y'all, this is about to be good. I'm going to eat mine over some Fritos. A little cheese, a little sour cream, some little onion chives. What? Yeah, it's happening up in here, y'all. I hope you try this recipe. I think you're going to love it. I really, really do. And remember, excuse me, if you don't care for the beef, use turkey. That's fine. Use the dark meat though. But y'all, share these videos out. It'll greatly help us. And you new ones joining us, subscribe. Leave a comment. Miss Lippy loves to talk. I try to answer every comment. But it's time to eat. And until next time, God bless you. Y'all, this is about to be good. I'm going to eat mine over some Fritos. A little cheese, a little sour cream, some little onion chives. What? Yeah, it's happening up in here, y'all. I hope you try this recipe. I think you're going to love it. I really, really do. And remember, excuse me, if you don't care for the beef, use turkey. That's fine. Use the dark meat though. But y'all, share these videos out. It'll greatly help us. And you new ones joining us, subscribe. Leave a comment. Miss Lippy loves to talk. I try to answer every comment. But it's time to eat. And until next time, God bless you.